What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe, and we're gonna hop right into Teimu today. We're gonna be doing a deep dive, sort of look at some gym equipment, and then we're gonna go from there. I will say that this website can be like diabolical at times in terms of their suggestions they make for you. I actually shot a whole video and I'm going back to sort of re-record because I saw some of the stuff that they popped into my video, and I'm like, that's not cool. We're not gonna do that. So, let's get started. I have some queries here that I already was searching up. We have home gym equipment from Teimu that I've certainly purchased before, and I'm sure some of you have looked at it. Maybe you're afraid to buy stuff from Teimu. So right off the jump, we have some cool stuff here. This one here specifically I've owned before, okay? This is their ISO lateral row. This is one that they had before, you know, the typical hammer strength one that most people have, which I did have. It was a pretty good machine. It was okay. It doesn't feel great, in my opinion, from a build quality standpoint. And the fact that you can't anchor your feet on anything except for foam rollers left a lot to be desired, in my opinion. So that's why I no longer use this machine. Have just better stuff, obviously, now at this point. So is it a good machine? It's okay. Do I recommend it? Not really, not unless you have absolutely nothing and you're just looking to put something in that you know you're gonna replace. But I don't think that's a great game plan, to be honest with you. Moving on, I've never used this shoulder press before. I've heard mixed reviews on it, and that's why I've never added it to my gym. Teimu, what happens with Teimu, and you have to understand, is that I think sometimes the pieces of equipment that either don't sell as well on like platforms where they can charge more money get thrown onto Teimu. So they could try to sell it either on, I guess, on a global market or just at a discounted price with an off brand. So this is, I would assume this is where pieces of equipment sort of quote unquote go to die in a way. Although I will say there are a lot of really good pieces that you can get, and I have gotten actually a lot of good pieces on Teimu. So moving through some of these, you know, here we have the chest fly, which is a totally different chest fly than what I own. You have to be careful. Look, and this is 1 star here. You have to be careful because you'll see pieces of equipment that look like other pieces of equipment, and you may be fooled to be like, oh, that's the one that I saw Nick using, but it's not the one that I was using. So just be careful of that. We have the seated dip. I had this machine. It's a good machine. My problem with it is that it has a 400-pound weight limit, and I was concerned using it because I was routinely exceeding the 400 pounds that something was gonna snap, and I was afraid that I was gonna get hurt. So that's why I didn't keep that machine. All right, let's keep moving on, guys. Keep looking at some of this equipment. There's certain things I wanna point out. I've never used this leg extension. I've heard people say hit or miss type of things. $275 isn't bad for something like this if you're just looking for a machine, but there's a lot of other good options out there now. All right, here we have a vertical leg press. I'm gonna click on this for a second. I had a Titan Fitness vertical leg press when I started my home gym. It was like one of my first pieces of equipment after I got my Rogue squat stands. And it was such a piece of garbage. Like, it was okay, like it got the job done, but the arms just basically scraped the inside of the tube, right? That was the friction that when it was going up and down. I had to spray a whole bunch of silicone lube on it for it to work, and it did work under load, but just thinking back on it, like, it was not I do not recommend these machines unless you absolutely have to save space and you're looking for a leg press, but I think you'd be better off with the belt squat, which ironically, you know, I'm curious like what the size difference of this is 50 by 41 compared to the belt squat. And it's funny because with Teimu, stuff doesn't always pop up the same. Stuff I'm seeing here isn't what I was seeing kind of before. You have the bicep curl. This is the old version I used to have. I no longer recommend this version with the new cable one out, and the reason for that is that this pendulum system is just far inferior. That weight peg is gonna slide off while you use it. It doesn't even, you know, there's nothing to hold it in, so something you wanna keep in mind. $178 isn't horrible, but again, if you could spring for the new cable machine, you're gonna want that over that. Same thing with this ab machine. I've had that before. No longer in my home gym. Here's one I wanted to talk about specifically, okay? So I have the ER Kang version of this machine. They've made changes to it where I actually no longer want to recommend this machine to anyone. And the reason I say that is that they removed the weight pegs from this machine. There used to be, or at least on my machine, there's weight pegs on the bottom and then you load the weights and they're separate from one another. The issue that this causes, and I'm gonna show you here, look at this image, okay? There's nothing, no weights weighing down the machine. So when you're doing these bicep curls, I have literally lifted the machine up off the floor, okay? The front comes up when I'm doing a bicep curl if you don't weigh down the machine properly. So taking these pegs off on the bottom here, it's only half the battle because you need to weigh the front down slightly too. But with these new designs of these lat pull down machines, without being able to weigh down the machine, I don't recommend them anymore. Someone's gonna get hurt. So just please be careful if you choose to get that machine. Pec Fly, I have this machine. I use it all the time. It's a great machine. The new version has the aluminum pulleys, which I upgraded mine with just some Teimu pulleys. So good machine. Are there better machines out there for this? Yeah. I have low ceilings in my basement, so I work with what I can fit, and honestly, I'm happy. I don't even think about replacing it with something. I could probably fit something else, but I don't even bother at this point because it's a good machine. It works well for what it does, and they would have to be such a substantial upgrade from that machine to make me want to switch. So there's a lot of stuff you can get. I mean, leg extensions and pull downs. You just got to be really careful and do your research. You know, something I thought was interesting, and I'm gonna go do a search up here. There's a brand right here. There's a brand, Kingsmith, who was on Amazon. Maybe for about the last year, they dropped some new equipment, and I've noticed it migrating over to Teimu. Now, I think that signals in a way that maybe the stuff on Amazon isn't selling as good as they thought it was going to. Like here you have their leg press, which I actually think looks really cool. It's like a squat press with an ISO configuration, so you can do individual legs. And now you can get it for $585. I think it's closer to $900 or $1,000 on Amazon. And it seems cool in theory, and I'd love to try something like this. I'm just not willing to take a gamble on something that just doesn't seem to have any input really from anyone online. So, and the reviews that I have read haven't left me wanting to purchase that piece of equipment. Same thing, they have this leg extension, which basically looks like it's similar to like the Lion's Cool Right Fit machine. Has a pulley system, looks decently good actually, but there's less adjustability in the foot pad, so range of motion, I would assume, may end up being an issue on this machine because it just has this rotating arm. At least on the Lion's Cool, you can swap the arm around to get better range of motion. Maybe if you use like a Hustler pad on it or something, it would help. I'm not sure what the build quality is, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is coming out of the same factory as the other machines, considering the design is so similar. Now, one last piece that I want to hit on that I'm surprised didn't come up is this belt squat machine. This is a phenomenal machine. I've used this in my gym on a very regular basis. It's a compact belt squat. I can't recommend this enough for the money. I would get this over one of those like janky machines, to be honest with you, because you just get so many motions with it. You can hit your back, you can hit your legs, you can do calf raises on it. I do that all the time, calf raises, and you could load a good amount of weight. And one of my friends was showing me, and he can drop a comment below maybe, he added uprights to this machine. And I think that would solve so many issues by adding handles that gives you more of almost like a handle position of like a Hatfield squat with the belt squat. I think that's really cool. Because obviously this handle sucks. It's the one downfall of the machine, that the arm has to go away from you when the weights go down. So because of that, it gives you an awkward handhold. That's my only negative about this machine. So this is probably my favorite Teimu purchase, except for the 3D hip abductor, which I do not see anywhere on Teimu anymore. Hasn't ever come back. I got it for a steal of a price. Anyone who got it after watching my video, kudos to you. So, you know, I think I'm gonna end it there. There are some cool things you can get on Teimu. Just be careful. Maybe you don't want to use your credit card directly. That's not any reason other than I just like to use PayPal when I'm going through websites. It's more secure. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Make sure you drop some comments, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next one.